1348. Black crust and open sewers. The filthy reality of medieval life. England, 1348, before dawn. There is no alarm clock, no hot shower, no clean water, no toilet. What wakes you is the smell. Your own body, the straw beneath you, the street outside the window. The walls around you carry a black crust, not paint, not dirt that arrived yesterday. Decades of grease, smoke, rotting filth, baked into the stone, layer by layer, year after year, until it becomes part of the building itself. This is not the Middle Ages you have seen in movies. No gleaming armor, no romantic castles. This is the real one, where 90% of people lived, in filth, in silence, in fear. Today we live through one full day in 1348, hour by hour, detail by detail. Stay with me, because it gets worse. Dawn, your morning routine. You share your straw mattress with your wife, your 2 children, and at least a dozen fleas. The straw itself has not been changed in months. It is matted, damp, warm in the wrong way. You have not bathed in 3 weeks, maybe 4. Heating enough water for a full bath requires 2 hours of firewood. 2 hours of firewood you cannot spare. So you don't. Nobody around you has bathed either. This is not considered shameful. This is just Tuesday. The first problem of your morning is immediate. You need to go to the bathroom. There is no bathroom. There is a clay pot beside the bed. You use it. Your wife uses it. The children use it. When the pot is full, someone carries it to the window and empties it, not into a drain, not into a pipe, into the street below. If you are polite, you shout a warning first. Garde-à-l'eau, from the French, gare l'eau. Watch out for the water, though it is not water. Now, you need water to wash your hands, except you don't wash them. Water must be carried from the nearest well or river. It is not wasted on hands that will only get dirty again in 5 minutes. No one in 1348 understands that invisible things called bacteria can move from your hands to your food and into your blood. That knowledge does not exist yet. It will not exist for another 500 years. So you move on. Unwashed hands, unwashed body, everyone around you, exactly the same. If this channel is new to you, this is what we do here. Real history. No filters, no romanticizing. Stay with me. It gets worse. The streets, what no painting ever showed you. You step outside. The street is not a road. It is a trench, narrow, dark, flanked by buildings so tall they nearly touch overhead. Down the center runs a shallow gutter called a kennel, designed to drain rainwater, in theory. In practice, it carries everything. Human waste thrown from windows through the night, blood and fuel from the butcher's stall at the corner, rotting food scraps from yesterday's market, horse dung, dog carcasses, mud, all of it mixing into a gray-black sludge that, on a rainy day, reaches your ankles. The city has rules, ordinances requiring residents to clean the stretch of street in front of their own house, fines for throwing waste without warning. There are workers called Gong farmers, men paid to empty cesspits under cover of darkness. Because the smell is so catastrophic, it is illegal to do the work during the day. The rules exist. The Gong farmers exist. The street still smells like everything I just described. Look up. The walls carry the black crust you saw at home, but here, on the outside, it is worse. Decades of candle smoke from thousands of households. Cooking grease that drifted out of windows and settled, tallow fumes from the chandler's shop on the corner, condensed, compressed, hardened by cold and heat, season after season, into a black crust that coats every surface no one ever scrubs. Rats run along the kennel beside you, black rats, ratus, in the thatched roofs above, in the grain stored in your cellar, in the walls that never fully close. This year, they are dying. More than usual. But you do not know what it means, not yet. Midday, what you eat. You eat with your hands. The same hands that emptied the clay pot this morning. The same hands that touched the door latch, the fence post, the straw mattress, the street. Your meal is dark bread, dense, hard, full of grit. The flour was ground in a communal mill. The millstone leaves traces of stone dust in every loaf. Dentists of the 21st century will excavate medieval skulls and find teeth worn flat, worn smooth, from a lifetime of eating bread full of stone. There is a bowl of pottage beside the bread, a thin soup, grain, and water. If today is a good day, a small piece of salted pork floats inside it. If today is a bad day, turnips. There is no refrigeration. The pork was salted months ago. You taste the salt more than the meat. You eat it anyway. But here is something nobody tells you about medieval food. The grain in your cellar may be contaminated with a fungus called ergot. You cannot see it, you cannot smell it. It hides inside the grain. Ergot produces a compound that causes hallucinations, convulsions, a burning sensation in the hands and feet, as if the flesh itself is on fire. In severe cases, gangrene, limbs fall away, death. Medieval communities called this St. Anthony's fire. They believed it was a punishment from God. They prayed, they fasted, they flagellated themselves. It was their bread. It was always the bread. In 1348, nobody knows this. The germ theory of disease will not exist for another 500 years. So you eat what you have, with the hands you have, and you thank God for it. We are halfway through this day. If this is hitting differently than what you expected, that like button is right there. Because the afternoon is where the body breaks down. The afternoon, what your body carries. You work until the light fails. If you are a craftsman, you sit in a workshop open to the street. If you are a laborer, you carry, haul, dig. If you are a woman, you do all of it, plus nurse a child, bake, spin, and carry water from a well that may or may not be contaminated. Your body is a map of what this life costs. Your hair is thick with grease. Every person in this city has lice. Not some people, every person. Families sit together in the evenings and pick them from each other's hair. A social activity, like conversation. Your teeth ache constantly. There is no toothbrush, no toothpaste. Some people rub their teeth with a rough cloth. Some chew aromatic herbs. Most do nothing. By the time you are 30, significant tooth loss is normal. Dental abscesses, infections spreading from a rotting root into the jaw, the skull, can kill you. A tooth, killing you. In 1348, that is not a metaphor. Your intestines carry parasites, roundworms, tapeworms. Archaeologists who analyzed cesspits from medieval English towns found parasite eggs in virtually every single sample. Not some samples, every single sample. This is not considered illness. This is just the body you live in. Your skin carries sores, open infections that never fully close. Because there are no antibiotics, no antiseptics, nothing but time and hope and a poultice of bread and spider webs that the local healer swears by. A cut from a farm tool, a scrape on stone. Either one can kill you within a week if the wound turns. The average life expectancy in 1348 is approximately 35 years. Not because the human body cannot live longer, it can. Some people reach 60, 70. But the infant mortality rate is catastrophic. 1 in 3 children will not survive to age 5. When you calculate the average across everyone born, the number collapses to 35. Every family on this street has buried children. It is the most common grief of the age. If you get sick, let's say you develop a fever, and the physician comes. He is an educated man. He has read Galen. He has read Hippocrates. He believes in the 4 humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile, and that disease occurs when they fall out of balance. His first prescription, bleeding. He cuts open a vein in your arm and drains blood from your body. The logic: remove the excess of the bad humor. The result? A weaker patient with a fever that has not changed, now also losing blood. If bleeding fails, the next option is a purge, a compound of mercury and other substances designed to evacuate everything from your body, violently. Mercury, which is toxic, which destroys the kidneys, which will kill you more slowly than the fever, but just as certainly. If the purge fails and you are still alive, the physician may reach for mummy dust, ground powder made from Egyptian mummies, imported at enormous expense, believed to carry the vital essence of ancient preservation. It does not work, but it is expensive, and expensive things feel powerful, so you swallow it. There is one treatment that is almost harmless: prayer. Prayer does nothing medical, but unlike bleeding and mercury, it also does not make you worse. Historian after historian notes the same pattern. The physician's intervention often accelerated the patient's death. The cure was frequently more dangerous than the disease. In 1348, that is not an exaggeration, that is the medical literature. Dusk. As the light drops, the rats come out. You have lived alongside rats your entire life. In the roof above you, in the walls, in the grain store beside the house. Everyone has rats. It is the texture of daily life. But this year, they are dying. More than you have ever seen before. Dead in the street, dead in the walls. When a rat dies, the fleas that lived on it abandon the cooling body and look for the nearest warm host. You are the nearest warm host. Those fleas carry a bacterium called Yersinia pestis. It will kill 1 in 3 people alive in Europe within the next 3 years. The University of Paris officially declared that the outbreak was caused by a conjunction of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars in the year 1345. The greatest medical minds in Europe, blaming planets. It was the flea. It was always the flea. Living on the rat, living on you. Evening. What they believed and why it mattered. The dominant theory of disease in 1348 is miasma, bad air. The idea that illness rises from decaying matter, rotting vegetation, sewage, standing water, and travels through the air as an invisible poison. The terrifying irony, the miasma theory, is wrong about the mechanism, but the advice it generates is accidentally correct. Stay away from filth, stay away from crowds, leave the city if you can. Cities that enforced these rules aggressively had measurably lower mortality rates. Venetian authorities invented the quarantine. Ships arriving from infected ports were required to anchor offshore for 40 days. Quarantino, 40 days, is the origin of the word. They did not know why it worked, they only knew that it did. But for most of Europe, in the rural towns, in the overcrowded cities, in the houses like yours, the miasma theory leads to one catastrophic failure. Nobody quarantines the rats. Nobody quarantines the fleas. Nobody makes the connection between the dying rats in the street and the swollen lymph nodes that appear 3 days later. The knowledge was impossible. Bacteriology is centuries away. The microscope has not been invented. These people were not stupid. They were simply living at the wrong moment in history. Night. The end of this day. You return to the straw mattress. The fleas are still there. The clay pot waits beside the bed. The black crust on the walls catches no light. Tomorrow will be the same day. The clay pot, the kennel, the bread, the ache in your jaw, the lice. The people who lived this day were not ignorant. They were not careless. They had rules about waste disposal. They had workers whose entire profession was managing what we now call sanitation. They built aqueducts, dug cesspits, wrote ordinances, levied fines. They lacked the one thing that would have saved millions of lives: the knowledge that the enemy was invisible, that it lived on fleas, that it moved through water, that hands, simple hands, could carry death from surface to surface with no warning and no smell. 1/3 of Europe dies in the next 3 years, somewhere between 25 and 50 million people. Each one of them lived a day exactly like this one: clay pot, bread, lice, work, fleas. The next time you turn on a tap, flush a toilet, swallow an antibiotic, remember this street, remember the kennel, remember the black crust on the walls. These are not luxuries. They are miracles that took 500 years to discover. Sources for this documentary include Rawcliffe's Urban Bodies, Communal Health in Late Medieval English Towns, Philip Ziegler's The Black Death, Guy Geltner's research on medieval urban hygiene, An archaeological analysis from the Journal of Medieval History. Everything you saw is documented. Everything is real. Next week, Versailles, 1682, the most luxurious palace ever built in Europe. Human waste in the corridors, lice-covered wigs, 10,000 people, almost no bathrooms. Subscribe, leave a comment below. Tell me which part of this day you could not have survived. Your answers build this channel.